What's good, everyone? Welcome back for another session. The EZA for this unit just came out within the last 24 hours, so I did go ahead and complete it. Just starting off the bat, this unit actually did quite surprise me in terms of the overall skill sets, especially on the defense side. So as the title of the video suggests, this guy is able to build up defense quite massively, and toward the back end of the run on Infinite Dragon Ball history here, I did see, the defense levels get upwards of 1 million plus. So for a free-to-play unit, this is a extremely good unit. With all that being said, let me just quickly cover the overall skill sets that came with the Extreme Z Awakening. So again, this is the free-to-play super physical type Kahseral, aka Pride Troopers. Leader skill will be Universe 11 category key plus 3 HP attack and defense plus 77%, or super type. Units get key plus 3 HP attack and defense, increase of 40%. Not necessarily really relevant there from a leader skill standpoint. For the super attack, again, the ability to raise defense along with raises attack for 1 turn and causing supreme damage to the enemy. And then the passive skill is where you really see the build up for this unit. So you do get a base increase of attack and defense of 110%. But you also do get an additional attack and defense increase of 110% and launches additional attack that's got a high chance of becoming a super attack when there's another Universe 11 category ally attacking on the same turn. Launches an additional attack that's got a high chance of becoming a super attack when all allies attacking on the same turn are Universe 11 category characters. And then Universe 11 category allies key plus 2 attack and defense increase of 50%. Plus an additional attack increase of 11% per super class ally on the team. In terms of the overall link sets, you've got Hero Justice, Signature Pose, Brainiac, Supreme Warrior, Cold Judgment, Tournament of Power, Shattering the Limit. And in terms of the categories, you've got Universe Survival Saga, Joined Forces, Special Pose, Universe 11, Space Traveling Warriors, and Defenders of Justice. For this particular showcase, I went with the Universe 11 category setup with the Tech LR Jiren as leads. You do at least get 170% in some of the parameters there, so I figured it'd be appropriate and okay to utilize that. And again, the whole team does consist of Universe 11 category units to fully maximize the passive requirements for this unit. And you'll see that Kahseral is essentially linked up pretty much all run with the intelligence type Topo / Pride Troopers. Topo is actually quite good in terms of being able to effectively guard against all types, so even though this unit is technically a support categorization, this guy does fine, in either slot 1 or 2, depending on obviously the difficulty levels. But in a setting like Infinite Dragon Ball history, this guy is not a problem whatsoever from a defense standpoint, so it really does amplify the rotation itself, where you have Kahseral being able to, really accumulate the defense stats, and the Topo unit that's effectively able to guard against all types. So, the combination of those two units makes the turn or rotation quite effective from a defensive standpoint. And again, this is based on a battle setting like Infinite Dragon Ball history, so it may differ on more difficult content like Ultimate Red Zone or what have you. But I think in the grand scheme of things, even though this guy doesn't stack up the attack stats based on every super attack, I was able to see upwards of 6 million plus from an attack stat standpoint. Defense-wise, this guy builds up quite fast. I think within a couple of turns, he's already looking at 400k plus in defense. So, it continues to build up, and obviously, depending on how you build the team, if you fill the team build pretty much with the Universe 11 category units, you're pretty much going to be able to maximize the passive requirements for this unit. So you're able to exploit the amount of chances towards super attacks and further build up the defensive levels based on your potential system. I went with the standard kind of approach of level 14 additional attack, level 12 crits. I didn't apply any skill orbs just yet for this unit. I just kind of wanted to test it out, close to the base or baseline state. And in terms of like the link levels, I mean, obviously, they're in the 2 to 3 link level ranges. So once you get toward level 10 links, then you're looking at a further improvement in terms of like the overall stats. So I can imagine, depending on, the requirements for a battle setting, this free-to-play unit can be extremely useful. Again, just because of the phenomenal defense that this unit is able to put out, once you're able to, build up the stats a little bit. So, in all honesty, I was extremely surprised. I think one way to put it in perspective when I was testing this out is Kahseral ended up producing much higher levels of attack stats compared to, for example, Strength type Jiren. Now, Strength Jiren was a Dokkan Fest unit several years ago, and that's one of the marquee type units out of the year. So in that regard, where you have a free-to-play unit producing 5 million plus in attack stats, and that's for one super, and this unit does have multiple super attack opportunities, really puts it in perspective when Jiren's only able to produce a little less than 3 million for one super attack. So I guess with all that being said, it's just a matter of time when that unit gets an EZA. I don't know from a celebration theme schedule standpoint when that might be, but I think it's about overdue at this point. That unit is certainly struggling. One of the units that I did include initially on the team, but had to end up removing it, was the Strength type Topo as well. Very, very good support unit and what have you, but even in this stage for Infinite Dragon Ball history, that dude ended up being quite a bit of a liability, where from a defense standpoint, he was taking way too many hits to make it really a viable option from a team build standpoint. So, unfortunately, that unit's already received an EZA. At some point, I guess, EZAs will end up receiving another EZA. The terminology will be probably different, but in terms of like the overall build, that's pretty much the the format there in terms of like the overall build itself. And again, I would probably maybe go a little bit heavier toward additional attack if I were to rebuild the potential system, just further, maximize the amount of like additional supers. Even though at level 14, this guy was consistently getting, upwards of, 3 super attacks per rotation. So I don't think that assignment, is necessarily wrong. But if you were inclined to go a little bit toward, heavier toward additional attack, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea either. I did include Dispo on here, but I didn't realize that although a lot of the links were already shared with the intelligence Topo unit anyhow, so it's more or less a surplus unit. You could probably replace it with a little bit better unit from a overall performance standpoint to either improve your defense or increase the damage output that the team is able to produce. So yeah, I mean, I think in a nutshell, I was pleasantly surprised with this unit once I went through the whole EZA process and started building teams around it. So I know we have another unit that did receive an EZA with the Goten Trunks and what have you. So I'll probably shoot for being able to do a showcase for that within the next 24 hours. I'll have to kind of play it out by ear based on the work schedule, but I haven't had a chance to test out that unit, so I am hoping I am also pleasantly surprised like I was with this unit, because the free-to-play physical Kahseral is quite good as long as you run it appropriately based on a Universe 11 setup, or you could even go with potentially special pose possibly. Defenders of Justice is probably an okay one. Universe Survival Saga would make the most sense, but again, you really do have to factor in the Universe 11 category requirements in order to fully take advantage of what this unit has to offer. So I think in terms of potentially some of the content related to that category, for example, Super Battle Road or Extreme Super Battle Road, it might be worthwhile to test this unit out and see how quickly the defense is able to build up, and if it's enough and quick enough to be able to offset a lot of the incoming enemy attacks. So, we'll have to see in terms of what the overall results are. It's kind of hard to figure that out without actually testing it yourself. So maybe that's something I'll work on this week as well. But yeah, I'm quite curious as to what your thoughts are on this unit's EZA. Again, I think from a high-level summary standpoint, defensively, this guy's very, very good. As long as you're able to, continuously stack toward that defense. From an offensive standpoint, this guy's pretty good as well. Again, you're looking at anywhere from like 4.9 million, starting off to like I don't know, upwards of like 6.5 million, and you're including multiple super attacks within that. So very, very solid unit from a free-to-play standpoint. I think they did a very good job in terms of the overall skill sets improvements with the Extreme Z Awakening. So that's my overall thoughts, but curious as to what you guys think as well. Alright, we will go ahead and conclude here, but hopefully enjoyed the showcase, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.